Hi guys, and welcome to my long-awaited hair tutorial. So today we're gonna be working with the sketch of the head which I prepared earlier. I decided upon showing you how to draw ponytail hairstyle because it will demonstrate the most tricky parts about drawing the hair. Alright, so first things first, I'm gonna be choosing the colors. And I essentially need only 3 colors, but obviously you can use more than that. However, in my opinion, 3 colors are more than enough to create a good color gradient. So I decided to go for brown hair today, and I'll be swatching some of the shades that I think might work the best. And the key to picking your shades is to have all the 3 colors in the same color family, meaning that the colors have the same hue to them. The only thing that should be different is the saturation of each shade. So first we're gonna need our highlight color, second one is gonna be our mid-tone base color, and the third one is going to be shadow color. And with all the colors being already picked, we can just get started. Alright, so there's only one more thing that I want to emphasize before we jump into the hair tutorial, and that is the importance of the head structure. You really need to pay attention to the fact that the head is not flat and it has its volume. And that is the crucial thing that would indicate the shape of the hairstyle you're drawing, so just keep that in mind. So the first thing you want to do is to sketch out the basic shape of the hair. Like you can see, I'm following the head outline, but I'm doing it a little bit more further back. And this is gonna be our volume of the hairstyle. After that, I'm just proceeding to sketching the hairline. And this is actually the most tricky part because the hairline is not just a straight line, it's rather a line that is not regular at all, so you have to do a lot of those little streaks of hair that will follow the shape of the head. So in this moment you want to be really gentle with using your pencil, not to make the sketch too rough. And also, if this part is too hard for you to do, the best thing is just to look up the references and see how the hair are growing and how they align on our foreheads and temples. And also here is the moment when you want to sketch how the hair are tied into a ponytail and how all those hair strands are aligned. So first, just sketch the place of where you want your actual ponytail to be, and from this point you want to do a gentle streaks with your pencil that will connect to the top of the ponytail with the hairline you just drew. And when this is done, we'll proceed to sketching the ponytail. First we're gonna do a little bump, so that will indicate the volume of the whole ponytail. And now, since I want my ponytail to be a little bit wavy, I'm gonna gently draw those flowy lines. I'm drawing those lines really freely, I don't want to be very harsh with them, and I'm just letting them go naturally. And now on the right you can see a picture of the drawing where I drew the hairstyle all against the tips that I just told you. The hair has no volume, it looks like it was strangely put on the head just like a cap or a helmet. The same applies to the ponytail. It doesn't give the impression of hair, it rather looks like a stiff block or something that is definitely not hair-like. And now, once you're happy with the base sketch, it's time to grab our mechanical pencils and refine the sketch a little bit more. So I'm starting off with the back of the head, and I'm gonna fix the line that I drew before, since I want my hair to look more natural. I'm gonna make it a little bit more closer to the head by the ponytail, and I'm gonna add some volume by the very end of the head. Same rule applies to the top of the head, when you kind of want to add a little bit more volume so it makes your hairstyle more interesting and more loose and again more natural. Then I'm just gonna keep on refining the rest of my sketch. And when it's all done, I'm just gonna erase the outline of the head so the sketch becomes cleaner and easier to work with. And now I'm just gonna quickly erase the excessive lines from the sketch so it looks less messy and it's gonna be easier to outline it. And at this point you might think that I just ruined the sketch, but I'd rather have my sketch cleaner and less visible than have it really visible with too much of graphite pigment smearing around. And now is the time for the easiest part because we're just going to outline our sketch. I'm using a 0.05 black fine liner and I'm just gently going over the most crucial lines of my sketch. I also don't want to press too hard with the fine liner to make the lines too stiff and all the same thickness, so instead I'm just doing light strokes in the most strategic places. And I know that some people would like their outline to be a little bit more thick and regular, but for me, those couple of strokes that I did are more than enough to give a natural and loose vibe to the hairstyle. And now when the outline is done, it's finally time for coloring. So the first tip for improving your hair drawing is to draw with brush tip marker. Not only will this allow you to create hair-like strokes, but it will also help you to blend in your colors in a more natural and again hair-like manner. So first you want to take the lightest shade from your range, the highlight shade. And when you're doing the highlights part, you want to enhance the places that are most exposed to the light. In this case also, you want to enhance the places that will show that the head is rounded. I'm putting the highlights randomly in the middle of the hairstyle, and with my strokes I'm indicating that the hair are going into one direction because they are tied into a ponytail. And I'm leaving the back of the head without any highlights because this part is not exposed to the light at all. And moving on to the ponytail, the same rule applies here. I'm putting the highlights on the places that are exposed to the light the most. And now, as opposed to the drawing I'm doing right now, here is a picture showing you the most common mistakes of putting the highlights. You can clearly see how they make the hairstyle and the head look totally flat. And because the highlight line is almost straight through the whole hairstyle, it looks very unnatural. And as the second step, we're going to be applying the darkest shade, the shadow shade. And as opposed to the highlighting rule, now with your darkest color you want to indicate all the places that are not exposed to the light at all. So firstly, I'm putting the color on the very back of the head where the light is not coming to. I'm also adding a little bit of shade behind the ear. Then I'm shading the area where the hair are tied into a ponytail. And now onto the ponytail, I'm putting a few dark strokes into the curls that are hidden from the light. And you also don't want to overdo the shadows at first, it's better to add them later on again, than have all the hairstyle looking too dark. And now it's the time to use our last color of the set, and that is the mid-tone shade. And this color will be our transition and blender color between the two shades that we already applied. So with this marker we're gonna fill all the white places that are left on the drawing, trying to blend in with our shadow and highlight shade. And also, in order to get a smoother gradient effect, you can layer a bit of the color onto your shadow shade to blend them more nicely. And now let's take a look at the picture in the corner. Here I layered the colors without really minding the hair structure. Instead of showing a nice highlight and shadow play that flatters the whole hairstyle, the coloring is looking flat and repetitive. Please try to avoid that at all costs. After coloring with markers, we're gonna proceed to the very last step of the whole drawing process, which is shading with colored pencils. And I love to do this part because it's gonna give this final touch and finesse the whole drawing. So same as for markers, it's really enough to use only 3 color pencils. One black, one brown and one skin tone like. I'll be applying black in the most shaded areas to deepen up the shadows. With the brown pencil, I'll go over the places that I see some paper picking through and I'll try to blend everything together. And the lightest color I'll use to strengthen the highlights. And here is another tip that will improve your hair drawing. I almost never used white pencil for the hair highlights. In my opinion, it looks too chalky and it stands out too much in comparison to the rest of the hairstyle. I'd rather use a color that is just a lot brighter and less saturated, but will give the impression of the natural daily light coming on the hair. And also, those more natural colors will blend in better with the rest of your hairstyle colors. And now I'll just keep on layering my colors until everything is blended perfectly. And at the very end of drawing process, I always like to add a couple of individual hairs flowing around the whole hairstyle, so it will once again give you the feeling of lightness and naturalness to your piece. Alright, so now you can finally see the hair drawing being all done and complete, and I really hope that you guys gonna take some of my tips and advices and that they will help you to improve your hair drawings. And just one more thing before you leave, thank you so much for watching, and just don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more of videos like this. Like this video if it was helpful for you, and also if you want to see more of my drawings and more of behind the scenes drawings, just make sure you follow me on my Instagram. All the links are going to be in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll be seeing you really soon. Bye bye!